Will I own my book of clients as my own RIA? That is today's question on the Transition to RIA video series. This is question number 10. Welcome. My name is Brad Wales with Transition to RIA, and today's question, short and sweet question, but it's still worth making a video for, and I think you'll understand why here. So the question again is, will I, as an advisor, officially own my book if I have my own RIA? And I would tell you, and I don't think I'm the only one out there, but I'm not really a big fan of the phrase owning the book or owning the book of clients. Maybe it's just I've been in the RIA world too long where you think of, I own my firm, I own my practice. That's what you do when you're in that independent world where it is your ownership. But nonetheless, it is an industry term that is used about book ownership or who owns the book of clients. So I'll use the term here. Like I said, not a big fan, because I think any advisor that does transition to the RIA model starts thinking of more of, I own my practice, I own my firm. It's not just this subset of clients that I own. I own the practice. And so I think that's important to kind of think through. But the short answer to this question is, as your own RIA, would you indeed own that book of clients? And the short answer is absolutely yes. You would be 100% independent. That is your book, your client base, both now and in the future when you want to do a liquidity event, which I'll dive into. And so that's why I think it's just important, just really reiterating how important book ownership is, not just to confirm that, yes, as your own RIA, you would own that book, just why it's so important. And for many of you watching this that might be at a wirehouse firm or wirehouse type firm, you're in that setting where the firm you work for believes they own the book of clients, not you. And no matter how many years or decades you've put into building those relationships and fostering those relationships, they still feel those are their clients, not your clients. And that's a fundamental difference of being in that kind of captive world and in transition to the RIA model, and where all of this hard work, like I said, for some of you is decades, that you deserve to have the benefits that come with all that hard work, and then have that ownership of the practice, not just the book of clients. And so I did want to touch on a couple just quick examples of why that's so important. And I did do a full white paper on this. If you go to the website, if you're not already there, transitiontoria.com. I did a whole white paper on this of 11 different ways the RIA model is superior from an economic standpoint to other affiliation options. And it goes through obviously 11 items, but a couple I'll just quickly touch on here. But if you really want to dive into those in more detail, I certainly encourage you to head on over to the website. There's a link right at the top, white papers. You can easily download it and take a read. But three kind of meaningful economic benefits of having that book ownership. One is just the higher enterprise value of your book. So one day when you do go to exit the business, you are going to want to maximize the value of your book. This is, for many of you, your life's work, your decades of work, and you're going to want to maximize the value of that. And it just is what it is. Having ownership of the book will drive a higher enterprise value for what you can get in a liquidity event with that. And kind of along that, and again, the white paper really goes into detail on this, is having that optionality and flexibility to exit the business in terms that fit best for you, both from a flexibility standpoint, but also on a financial terms. And so many of you that might be at the more captive firms, the wirehouse firms, they generally offer a sunset type plan or a retirement kind of type plan where you effectively sell the book to a succession advisor that kind of follows in your footsteps. And in the white paper, I give a lot of examples why those are two drastically different options, both in flexibility and the economics involved. And it's just important to really understand how much more advantageous it is to own your book and then exit the business under that umbrella than going through one of these sunset plans. And then along with that, which is very little known, I think, out there is the difference in tax treatments of going through something like a sunset plan because you don't own the book, or transition into the RA model where you now own the book and exit it under that strategy, and how the taxes on the income or the compensation you will receive from those exits varies quite a bit different, and it's worth understanding that. So again, take a look at that white paper, but it just further again reinforces how important book ownership is. That was just 3 little examples, and I didn't even dive too far into them. The white paper is 11, a lot of details, but it just drives home how important book ownership is, and that yes, as your own RIA, if you transition to the RIA model, you will have book ownership, and it's important to be aware of. And I would just say, some of you might be thinking, oh, I'm quite a ways away from retirement or from needing a liquidity event. And now just encourage you, you might be, but you want to do this under your terms. And if you know that finish line is more advantageous down one path versus another, there's no reason to not start thinking about that now and start positioning yourself for when you do reach that point and want to be able to maximize what you can do with that. So in a future video, I'll dive into a couple more topics, maybe on sunset plans or the difference between them. But on this one, I just wanted to keep it very simple, answer the basic question: would you own the book if you transition to the RA model? And the answer is absolutely yes. And I just can't stress enough how important that is, that you reach a point where you do have that book ownership and all of the advantages it gives you as a result of that. So again, you need to own your book. You will own your book as an RIA if you were to transition to that model. So with that, like I said, my name is Brad Wales. I'm with Transition to RIA, helping advisors understand this exact sort of thing is what I do all day long with my firm. Would be happy to have that conversation with you as well, to walk you through any of these details and help you really understand what the differences are between what your current arrangement is, affiliation model, and how that compares to the RIA model. And so as I always tell people, what I'm out there trying to do is to help advisors understand everything there is to know about why and how you might want to transition to the RIA model. Book ownership is just one example of why you might want to transition to the RIA model. So I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. If you're not already there, head on over to transitiontoria.com. Lots more videos, the white paper that I mentioned, there's all links at the top. And then the easiest path to really start discovering these sorts of things is just to reach out to me. And at the top is a contact link. You can instantly schedule a date and time for us to connect. And we'd be more than happy to start having this sort of dialogue with you about helping you understand, again, your current situation and what a sort of a transition to the RA model might look like for you. Would be happy to have that conversation. So with that, short and sweet question today. I hope you find some value in it, and I'll see you on the next question.